Hello everybody and welcome to what I'm calling a preview look at Sunfire and Moonshadow, the expansion for Vagrus The Riven Realms. Lost Pilgrims were nice enough to reach out to me to see if I wanted to take a look at the expansion, and I was a no-brainer for me. I've spent 60 plus episodes wandering the wastelands of Xeryn, and I'm stoked to take a look at this. Essentially, the game adds a ton of new content, all centered around the Bronze Desert up here in the northwestern part of the continent. Now, you might say, Ben, this is super far from everything you've been doing so far. We basically stayed in this circle here, kind of between the triangle of Torzag, Shelter, Devon, and Avernum. A little bit of Larnak, and then Tectum Carvos in the southwest as well, or I guess due west as well. But to get there, there's some things we have to do, and it all centers on Lumen, surprisingly enough, which is where I left my Comitatus when I finished recording. This is going to be kind of like out of order with what I've been doing. We're not going to make this part of our main run. I've made a separate save for this to show you guys the content of the expansion for this video, but we're gonna kind of stick around here for the main run until we're ready to go into the expansion area. But I do want to show it to you because they were nice enough to ask me to look at it. So we have to go into Lumen first, and we're gonna see an old friend of ours. You're walking beside the Comitatus, shielding your eyes against the blinding light emanating from the crystal forest ahead when a familiar voice calls out your name. Turning toward it, you see an elderly man with a long beard sitting on a flat-topped stone by the dirt road that leads towards Lumen. "Glad to see you're safe and sound, good master," he says with a toothless smile. You recognize the old man now. He accompanied the Comitatus briefly just around the time you became a Vagrus. So this is the same guy from the tutorial that I did. So if you didn't see what my playthrough of the tutorial, Agos is the guy who's kind of telling the story of the Vagrus that you play as in the tutorial. He also shows up at the very, very beginning of the start of the game. So that's who this is. If you're unfamiliar with Agos, it is none other than Agos, that ancient geezer. "By the old and the new gods, it is a blessing indeed, eh?" he goes on. "To see that you've been fortunate on the road, eh, brings joy to this old heart. Your Comitatus looks like it's seen its fair share of peril, but prevailed. I knew it too, eh? That you would end up leading these souls who, well, despite the harshness of the wasteland, it calls to the likes of us, but I babble as always, eh? Good to see you alive and well, as is all I'm saying." This voice is gonna wreck my throat. I love my voice acting ability. Inquire what brings him here? Tell him to sod off. I don't think so. I've never been rude to Agos. Let him know that it's good to see him alive and well. Oh, you guys! My crew is the worst salty people in the history of the world. Although, to be fair, Gorgoro and Eilani are the people I've been struggling with loyalty the most. So honestly, if you'd asked me to sacrifice some loyalty with literally everyone and get some loyalty from Gorgoro and Eilani, I probably would have said yes. So I'm not too upset about that. "Oh, good master, you of all should know how the road is," he goes on undeterred, perhaps even unaware of what you said. "Me, I got a lot of travel under my belt since I saw you last, but now I have to make it to another destination, to the crossroads, just where the Emperor's Road and the Windway meet, east of the Land of Dry. You tell him you know where it is. We've been through there like hundreds of times." Yes, of course you do, good master," he chuckles. "So what do you say? Shall we share the journey again? I'd pay with stories and good company, oh ho yes. Nothing better than stories around the campfire. I'm in no rush, truly, but who knows how long an ancient fellow like me has. We will take him with us right now." Agos hops from one leg to the other in glee. You tell him that he can join your Comitatus for the trip. Thank you, good master," he bows low. "You won't regret it. I'll make myself useful, oh yes. On to the crossroads we go." With that, he grabs his backpack and joins the column, then begins chatting jovially with your Comies. You wonder if this was a good idea. Agos, the old wanderer, joins your Comitatus. We have entered Lumen. I'm gonna pause the video here. I got some stuff to do, turn in these missions and whatnot, and then I gotta go back to Torzeg's shelter to drop off stuff there, and then we will head to the crossroads together. So hold on for a second. We're back. Agos has some things to say. This evening, you find Agos around the campfires, telling tall tales and distracting guards from their duty. Most of your komis are strangely fond of his company, if you are being honest, but things can go wrong in the wasteland if one lets their guard down. You approach the old man, who steps away from his audience and greets you warmly. After you make the observation that he has been talking to the guards, he chuckles lightly. "I am merely trying to earn my keep, good master." Agos spreads his wizened arms. "One feels so hopelessly useless when one gets this old. But at least I can hope that my stories lift the spirits somewhat, eh?" Ask him why he's going to the crossroads. Agos's eyes peer into the night while he thinks of an answer. A rare sight indeed. "Oh, you know how the road is, good master. Takes you here, then takes you there. I'm a vagabond, always have been, and such. I don't know where I am headed. Yes." What? You remind him that he specifically wanted to go to the crossroads. "Ah, yes, good master, I told you that." He clears his throat. "Very important that I reach my destination. I have something that I must give to a certain someone. Very important." You ask him who he works for. You cannot imagine that he is doing this all by himself. "Think so low of me, good master?" He gives you a senile grin. "Understandable, yes. Agos is a doddering old fool, but this time he has to do this important task. Just trust him on this one, eh? He's unwilling or unable to give you more, so you leave it be. We will let him, let's ask him to tell a story. I like his stories, they're weird." Agos's eyes light up when he hears your query. "There's nothing I'd like more," he says, and so you sit down at your own fire in front of the tent. The old man pops his fingers and then takes a swig from his jug of water, and then begins a tale from the days of yore. The story is about the angel called Camlor, who appeared to the immortal but dispossessed race who were wandering the outer realms after the fallen. Terrible demons of the abyss wrought destruction throughout the creation. Revealing himself as a messenger of the elder gods, he offered to teach these wayward people, whose very name fell into obscurity, but also to learn from them, for they were wise beyond imagining. Camlor moved to the city-state of Kelanon to live with his new allies, and the place in turn became not only the largest refugee center of the Outer Realms, but also to the home of many other angelic beings too. The immortal race thrived for long millennia, even after most of their celestial guests had left their empire and faded into obscurity, including Camlor. It is said that no other race came close to unlocking all the secrets of the arcane, and with it all of the laws that govern the universe. Before his disappearance, Camlor proposed and oversaw the construction of a city that could guard and watch the abyss from its precipice. This place is called Rune, and it is said to have become a mighty fortress even after the empire of the mysterious race crumbled and was forgotten. The story is quite intriguing, even though the scale alone makes you wonder if all this could have happened in the first place. But it is not the point of stories to make you wonder. Agos certainly believes so. Eventually, you leave his company and go to bed. Hey, we gained some insight, and after 1 day plus 2 morale. Alright, we're going to pause again, and we'll rejoin at the crossroads, because we got to pop into Torzeg's shelter here. Oh, 1 moment. We have arrived at the crossroads. Let us enter with Agos and see what awaits us. Enter. Agos wanted to come here. We wave at Buka as we go past. We have things to do. What is he planning on doing now? The old man appears at your side. "Good master, I'm grateful to you for bringing me here. Beyond grateful," he tells you in a rather serious tone. "But I ask you one last time to please help me. Mine old eyes are not what they used to be, and I have to locate something in this barren, jagged area. Could you accompany me? It'll only take a moment, yes. Perhaps this is the only way to be rid of him." We will accompany him. That's why we came here in the first place. You spend some time wandering around the great standing stones before heading northeast into the craggy, broken terrain surrounding the crossroads. Agos limps and hops from the jagged stone formation to shallow crags, seemingly aimlessly, mumbling under his breath. Looking north, you can see the horizon darken and begin to feel a chill breeze on your face. Is a dust storm approaching? You call to the old man and ask what exactly he is looking for. Agos hems and haws about finding something important out here, and then looks up at the horizon and his eyes go wide. Too soon! Too soon! He mutters. Before you can ask him to elaborate further, you begin to hear agitated yells from the comitatus. Turning around, you see some of your comis now standing on vantage points, waving at you, looking out toward what is undoubtedly a dust storm moving at an uncanny speed. Its trajectory is taking it closer and closer to the crossroads, and you begin to have a very bad feeling about your position here. You turn back to tell Agos that you should go back and prepare, but he is nowhere to be seen. You spend only a few moments searching to no avail. Then you decide to rush back to your people. Wait, good master! The old man's voice came from nearby, so you stop and turn around. You can see him now, his bald egg of a head popping out of a crevice that runs from east to west. Please, good master, you have to trust me, he calls to you. Direct your comies here, as fast as you can. You ask him why you should do that, to which he glances at the approaching storm, now looming large and dark, swallowing the skies to the north. That ain't your regular dust storm, his voice quivers, looking at it, an eerie feeling begins to take hold of you. Are you hearing voices in the wind, whispering and moaning? Your heart sinks and a cold, cold fear grips your heart. We're no stranger to wind assaulting our mental facilities in this game. Do as Agos asks and call your comitatus here. You signal for the comitatus to approach you fast, and they comply, lurching into motion as fast as they can. Not a moment too soon, either, because the strange storm is about to descend upon the crossroads at any moment now. Your comies can hear the eerie noises for certain, even from afar. You can see them turning their heads frantically to pinpoint its source. Some of them are yelling in agitated voices. The pilgrims! The pilgrims have come! Oh no, that's from the tutorial, and that went horribly wrong for us. To the mention of those unknowable ghouls, terror washes over the crew in one terrifying instant. Master, master, here, here! Agos tries to shout over the rising cacophony of the approaching storm and the shrieking wind. He must be at the bottom of the crevice, which might be deeper than you initially imagined. Join Agos in the crevice. The land has gone dark. You expected some sort of shelter in the ravine that Agos has found, but when you run to its bottom, you see the old man bent over some strange metal device on the ground, no larger than an adult's hand, adjusting its moving bits gingerly. The crevice you are in is less than 10 feet deep and similar in width, reaching its lowest point about 20 feet ahead of you, where a strange natural archway has formed from the rocks on the side. You gasp when you see between the arches the air itself shimmers in an odd sort of way. Crossroads in more ways than one, Agos almost whispers in awe. And before you, good master, is a gateway to the other worlds, a realm gate. You blink. You can just make out the clamor of the approaching comitatus over the screaming wind above the crevice. Ask Agos what the device is. It's the way out of here, Agos replies. When you ask him if he has had it all along, he grins. I've had it for a while now, aye. At that moment, the device lights up with bluish arcane flame, and at the same time, the shimmering of the realm gates becomes more pronounced, as if some unseen force was tugging at a vertical water surface. The mirror-like apparition solidifies, and on the other side, a red light appears. The old man jumps to his feet and yells triumphantly. He turns to you and hands you the device. Take this, good master. Take it, take it, take it. He begs you, lead everyone across, to safety, it's your only chance. Just then the storm hits the crags outside with a deafening scream. You also hear macabre moaning and chanting carried on the wind. Moments after that, your crew makes it to the crevice and they begin crowding inside, mouths agape with wonder at the sight of the gate. You could send everyone to the other side, the gate is large enough for even your beast to fit through. But how long is it going to stay open, and is it truly safe there? We will go. Fighting the pilgrims did not work for us in the tutorial, so usher your crew through. The crossroads became a realm gate. They are hesitant at first, but once you begin screaming orders, they find their courage and leap into the gate one by one. Even your protesting beasts and mounts are ushered through without much trouble. Perhaps they too can sense the imminent danger closing in on the crevice. You wait until you are the only one on this side of the realm gate. By then the storm has reached its zenith and strange noises are becoming quickly more and more pronounced. You realize that it is chanting. Monotonous, horrid, inhuman chanting. Terror seeps into your heart. Eerie lights appear at the entrance of the crevice, dancing through the dust storm. You can see figures now in the light, terrifying skeletal figures emanating an evil glow. Ragged robes rustle, cowls half-hide decayed faces. All the faded religious paraphernalia hanging from these sad corpses cannot make up for the fact that they have been dead for a millennium. 3 of the ghouls descend, hovering effortlessly towards you. Paralyzed by terror, you cannot move, you cannot even breathe. But just before the first pilgrim reaches you, one of your companions jumps out of the gate and pulls you through. Thank God. Everything becomes a blur as your head is spinning madly. Whoosh. The spinning stops and you suddenly feel solid ground beneath your feet again. You just have the presence of mind not to fall over right away, but you're grateful one of your komes who leaps to the rescue and catches you after you stumble several feet. It takes you a handful of moments to regain your senses, and when you do, you try to assess the predicament you are currently in. You and your komes are standing at the foot of a strange structure, a pair of fang-like stone pillars that form an archway of sorts. The realm gate must have opened between them, but now it is gone. Not even the telltale shimmer remaining behind it. Around you is a rocky, completely barren wilderness. The ground rises to your right and ascends into a line of jagged hills. Above all this are red skies streaked with dark clouds. Distant rumbling thunder spreads over the Comitatus as crew and beasts are huddled together in silence, looking up at the strange, alien-looking heavens. You check if everyone else has made it. Miraculously, everyone is accounted for, having successfully passed through the realm gate in the chaos of the encounter with the last pilgrimage, or almost everyone. The old geezer's gone, someone notices. Not Agos, no! Everyone looks around, and true enough, Agos has disappeared, but nobody seems to recall when they last saw him. Since he is not here, he must have remained on the other side of the gate, however unlikely that seems. You glance at the strange device he handed you. It is now dormant like the gate, its mystical glow having completely faded. You sigh, then you notice that most of your komes have ascended a small slope on the other side of the fanged gate, and are now looking out over the open terrain, hoping that to perhaps use a landmark to identify where you are, and you join them. And when you do, you forget to breathe for a second. Wow. Whoa! Look at this place! Red crystals? An obelisk? And a patch of sand. And then this, which is like a tower? And we're clearly floating in the sky. This is wild. Looking out over the area ahead, you realize you are standing on a huge floating island through the roiling red skies. Your gaze is drawn to the largest landmark on the island, a cyclopean, crumbling fortress in the distance. Slightly to your right, further right, just beneath the jagged hills you arrived at, lies a crystal forest of a deep red hue, surrounded by woods, and leaves of a strange bluish-green color. A now ruined stone road cuts across the odd landscape from side to side, passing beneath the fortress, but ultimately leading nowhere. You get the impression that the island was once part of a larger whole, but was broken out of it and tossed into these odd skies. Above and around the levitating landmass, occasionally thunder rumbles and lightning forks. You also notice that despite the dark red hue of the sky, the light here is flat and colorless, coming from nowhere in particular. "Where are we?" someone mumbles. After you recover somewhat... I don't have a spyglass?! I could have swore I had a spyglass. Good to know. After you cover somewhat, you gather the more prominent members of your crew and discuss your predicament. It is clear you are no longer in the Riven Realms. Your best guess is that you were transported to the Outer Realms, the endless magical expanse beyond that of your world where the gods used to dwell, but is now overrun by foul demons or worse. The device Agos used to open the realm gate is dormant, perhaps requiring someone to recharge it, or else some other knowledge neither you nor your companions possess. Nor is there a discernible way to open the portal, but even if there were, no one is insane enough to venture back where the last pilgrimage appeared. Not for a while, at least. Yet there might be another way out of here. It is then that someone calls your attention to smoke rising in the distance. Everybody's just smoking a joint. No, just beyond the great road rising the island. It might be coming from bonfires or chimneys, but it is difficult to say from this far. That's where the spyglass would come in handy. We will order the Comitatus to move out and try to reach that place. The Comitatus moves out after a brief break. Everyone seems to have faith that the course of action you chose is going to lead to their salvation. Some even begin to chit-chat about the strangeness of everything that has happened. Being lost in the Outer Realms after a harrowing encounter with the last pilgrimage? Surely, they say, it is the stuff of legend. You begin your descent. We gained insight. Wow. Well, I guess that makes sense. I guess we go here. Right? There we go. I was like, how do I go? Oh. Ew. Green pools of slime. The art in this game, if you're new to the series or new to my channel in general, the art in this game is amazing. Plus the lore. Like, that is the big draw for me. I absolutely love the writing in this game. The descent from the Fang Gate is long and arduous, but since there is no sun or any other heavenly body to mark your progress, or the passage of time, it is quite easy to get confused. You are past the bend when the narrow path takes you closer to the lakes of green glowing fluid that occupy this part of the island. Crew and beasts are getting anxious as a light breeze begins to blow from beyond the fluorescent liquid, and its gases it emits billow closer. You can now see large objects farther away sticking out from the surfaces of the lake. Perhaps parts of some wreckage or piles of scrap metal. Getting to them, even to be able to observe them better, would be risky, though. We gotta try it, right? Get closer to the lakes to investigate? You and a handful of your companions approach the closest lake. The green glow is hard on your eyes, but the real danger comes from the noxious gases that rise from the phosphorescent surface. You begin to feel dizzy almost right away, despite covering your faces with rags. Ooh, okay, maybe I take it back. Coughing follows and you begin to feel weak in the knees. Let's turn back. Oh god! Well, I'm glad I didn't dive into the lakes totally, but Krifta got hit twice, rough. She lost 4, Eilani lost 2, and we gained weakened, which I assume will go away after some time. Or maybe we're weakened forever, in which, sad. The Comitatus marches on. Due to your luck or divine providence, the noxious gases avoided the crew for the most part. Whew. Some begin coughing while others faint, but then come to their senses soon afterward. The path starts to diverge from the lakes, and you make it without serious setbacks. Press on towards the road and the settlement beyond. Well, that was lucky. Away we go. Are people living down here in these holes in the side? You seen that light? You're on the final leg of your approach to what looks like a mostly abandoned village, huddled between the woods ahead and the peculiar square with a gigantic crystal monument, the hills you have just crossed. There is quite a lot of space between the decrepit-looking houses, and it is evident that whoever built them had no care for placement or how streets should be formed. Everything was built from local wood and stone, it seems, and everything is in a bad state of disrepair. Most dwellings must have been abandoned long ago, yet smoke rises from several chimneys. It is then that you finally catch sight of the locals. Whoever they are, they seem too timid to come out and greet you. Instead, they are hiding in their homes, having seen you approach across the hills for certain. Most of them are humans, but there are members of other stranger races among them. Your attention is quickly drawn to the pounding of a hammer on metal. Signaling for the Comitatus to halt, you round a corner to arrive at a smithy, where a tall, muscular man is hammering away at something small on a small anvil using a jewelsmith's hammer. The man is naked from the waist up, and draws your attention to his alabaster-hued skin. His long jet-black hair is in a single braid reaching down to his wide belt fitted with all manner of metalworking tools. So, what brings you here? I assume that's him. The man's voice... I'm the one who demands it of him. The man's voice is smooth and even. He turns to you, crossing his powerful arms in front of his chest. To your surprise, his features look almost elvish, with slightly glowing blue eyes set into a handsome, ageless face. The masterwork silver armbands he is wearing are probably magical, as is the delicate circlet keeping his hair in place. Yet, you get a sense of vigilance from those deep blue eyes, and you are certain that this man is a formidable foe when angered. You ask him what exactly here is, to which he calmly replies, "We call it Kadath. It is a sanctuary for lost souls and refugees, people who lost everything and do not wish to be found." He sweeps his gaze over your Comitatus before repeating his first question. So, what brings you here? We will tell him the whole story, tell him the essentials. Let's tell him the whole story. I don't really know who this guy is, but I can't imagine we did anything wrong. The man listens to your account intently. Once you conclude it, he nods and admits, although he does not know this pilgrimage, he has heard of your world. My name is Ikarion. He introduces himself, guardian of Kadath, our wayward sanctuary. He begins to explain where you are. You are on the nameless island, floating over the red waste of the Outer Realms. This ruined landmass used to be part of the fallen Ithil Empire many millennia ago, but then the damned destroyed the fabled realm and tore it apart. This place was hurled into the etheric skies, where it remains to this day. I know this because I am also an Ithil, one of the last of my kind. We were blessed with eternal life, barring illness or injury, and so I witnessed the destruction of our empire and our culture. I wandered for a long time after that, a long time. Eventually I came here by chance and settled down. That too was quite some time ago, even though time itself flows differently here. You ask who the other inhabitants of Kadath are. Sometimes realms walkers or wanderers come here through realm gates, same as you, he replies, indicating the onlookers with his jeweler's hammer. Most of them are refugees from the conquered worlds. I give them refuge, for I was not given that thousands of years ago. The island can support several hundred souls quite well, so we built this sanctuary. You are welcome to stay, too, all of you, as long as you adhere to our rules. Hurt nobody in this community and take your part in the daily chores equally, though something tells me that you will not be staying for long, wanderer. Agree to his conditions. You need a place to stay? Make a deal. You keep to his rules if he helps you leave the island. Or tell him that you do not care about his rules. No, let's make a deal. We will keep the rules and help as long as we're here. Very well then. We are in agreement. The Ithil Smith flashes a smile, the first time you have seen him do so. You and your crew can stay as long as you want. I suggest you settle in. We have quite an ordeal behind you, I believe. Once you all do so in a satisfactory manner, we can talk. There might be a way for you to leave, but it has some caveats we need to discuss. For the time being, the good people here will show you around the village and tell you which houses you can use. You tell him that is fair enough. Icarian waves his hand and the locals emerge from their hiding places. They introduce themselves to the crew and show them houses they can occupy as well as pens for your beasts. As agreed, everyone will have to join work crews in the forest because the sanctuary survives via hunting and foraging. Icarian assures you that there will be enough food to go around. Come talk to me when you're settled in, he says before you leave, and take a look at your own house. And don't go wandering off into the wilderness. You're not ready for it. You leave his presence for the time being. Kadath became a refuge. End. Cool! This is very neat. It's a little different than how the game has progressed so far in Vagrus, but it's exciting to see how they created this kind of middle world. It's neat. A nigh-abandoned village surrounded by an alien wilderness on an island floating in the eye of an apocalyptic storm. Kadath is easily one of the most improbable settlements in all the realms. The only thing stranger than its location is its mysterious custodian. The village, a speck of civilization in the strange wilderness. We've got... So this is new as well. The developers have come up with the warehouse where you can look at like your goods and equipment, and they have something called the statio, which we will look at after I've looked through this. We can add the goods and equipment to store in the warehouse, where there may be a limitation on space. You can surpass storage limit with the overflow option, though this comes at a cost. So, we could just store stuff here in Kadath. I don't really see the need to do that right now, since we have plenty of cargo space. You can leave or take back crew members or beasts. If you have different kinds of beasts, you can swap them. That's cool too, because before, there's different types of mounts. These are mammals, if you couldn't tell. Horses and beasts of burden. There's also lizards, and then there's also bugs, which I haven't been able to access yet. But before, if you wanted to switch these out, you would have to either sell or butcher all of the current creatures you have, and then swap over to lizards or the other kind. They don't get along, I guess, so you can't mix and match. But if you were like, I want to do lizards, you could put all of your beasts of burden in here or something, and then you could take some lizards instead. That's kind of cool. So maybe you need... So as far as I understand it, mammals are better at carrying capacity, and then lizards are faster, I think? Or better at combat? Or maybe mammals are faster? I don't know. I think it's mammals are slower, but they can march further. They can't carry as much, if I'm reading this correctly. It takes more workforce, but more food for the lizards. So, like, mammals are more efficient overall. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Why would we leave? I guess we'll figure out if we need to take or leave people. I'm not really sure. Let's go into the village. The village of Kadath is sparsely populated, even considering your crew, who are occupying formerly abandoned houses. Decrepit buildings are jumbled around a central smithy where the mysterious Icarian toils away during most hours. We will check in with the locals. Most of the 24 locals are shy people who like to keep to themselves, but some are friendly enough to answer questions. Can we buy stuff? Ask for some supplies? The villagers at Kadath do not have much, but they are more than happy to assist you as much as they can. Your Imperial coins are worth almost nothing here, they explain, but they are ready to share their hard-earned supplies. Well, we don't really... Well, I mean, every 6 days we should ask for it now, but they are more than happy to help out. some hauling litters. We don't have any ivory and we don't have any hides. Maybe we can procure that on the island? Well, let's ask them about Icarian. The inhabitants of Kadath consider Icarian to be their lord and guardian, even though they know that the Ithil Smith does not want to place himself above anyone else here. Everyone you talk to gladly places their life in their leader's hands, knowing that his skill, intellect, magical power, and benevolence are unmatched. It is mostly thanks to him that they have survived this long. You try to carefully ascertain if they ever doubted the Ithil, but they tell you that since they have been here, that Icarian has never once given cause for it, and some of them have been here for decades. Let's ask about the island. The locals know quite a lot about the island. It is their home, after all. Yet you soon learn that their knowledge goes only as far as dangers and bounties go. They know where to go for food and water, what to avoid, what to hunt, what to plant, and where to take shelter. As for the history of ancient structures and origin of the strange locations, they are almost completely oblivious. Most of them are content to spend their days in peace here, working for their food, repairing their houses, and listening to Icarian's tales occasionally. You ask some of them why they stay, and the answer is almost uniform. They have nowhere else to go. Some tell tales of complete destruction of worlds, empires, lands, or continents where they used to live at the charred hands of the damned. Others were chased away from their homes for other reasons. All came here by accident and came to the conclusion that there is no point in going anywhere else. Very cool. Let's talk to Icarian. Icarian looks up to you when you enter his workshop. Welcome, he tells you, places his jeweler hammer on the anvil. I hope our new accommodations are sufficient. Unfortunately, we are a bit tight on resources, as you can see. You tell him that it will have to do. True, he nods. And rest assured that if all goes well, you will be able to leave sooner than you'd think. Not all of you, mind, but don't worry about that. Anyone who stays behind will be taken care of, no charge. He charges us. Suspicious of intent, you ask what he means by not all of you. Well, I might be able to open a realm gate for you, but lacking proper tools and resources for arcane repairs, they can be held open for only so long. This means that a limited number of your people can cross at any given opening, and even so, I'll need to confirm something. He holds a pause, and then reaches out towards you, palm turned upward. I need to take a good look at the device that you brought here. There's a long, tense pause. Upon my word, I'll give it back, Icarian says calmly, but without it, I will not be able to open a realm gate that takes you back to your world. I have to make sure that it's the genuine article. You hesitate briefly, but then hand him the strange device that Agos used to bring you here. Icarian handles it with great care, almost reverently even. I was right, an astrolabe, he says. You call his attention to the proper pronunciation. He grins. I know what an astrolabe is. But this is named an astrolabe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, because it does not use the manifestation of heavenly bodies to guide its owner, but rather the astral currents flowing between the realms and themselves. A bit of a cheeky name, I grant you that. You ask him what it does and how it works. It is a remarkable relic and a true rarity, the smith says quietly. I didn't know if any survived the scouring of the Ithil Empire. Yes, Wanderer, this artifact was designed and created by my people in the days of yore. It can open realm gates it is attuned to, even when held by someone who does not possess the required magical powers normally required for such a feat, or any magical power whatsoever for that matter. Unfortunately, its arcane energies are spent doing so, and it has to recharge. This takes quite a lot of time, unless... He takes a large red glowing crystal artifact from a shelf. Icarian mutters an incantation with the astrolabe in one hand, and in the energy crystal in the other. The latter begins to shine brightly, but the glow begins to fade, and at the same time, the arcane device you handed to him starts to lighten up. After a minute or so, the crystal is cracked and glass-like, while the astrolabe is aglow with sorcerous energies. It is done, Icarian announces, handing you the device. Your astrolabe is recharged. Granted, this cannot be done by just anyone, I'm afraid. I can do it for you whenever you are here, but once you use the device to leave Kadath, you will have to wait for it to recharge by itself, or find someone who can recharge it for you, and it won't come cheap, I imagine. I love how that just happened. He's like, get out of here now. Icarian strokes his chin thoughtfully. One more thing, he says, the astrolabe is bound to you, well, your soul, by powerful magic. This connection is very difficult to undo, or to create in the first place. Whoever did it made it so that you, and only you, can use this specific device. I imagine this is quite a feat in most worlds that are largely ignorant of realms walking, or incapable of it without major magical resources. You need a gate to be attuned to the astrolabe and know the destination. also attuned to your device. A lot of thoughts are rushing through your mind. Could Agos have done this? How else could you explain the binding of the astrolabe? Seeing this, Ikarian adds quietly, when you are ready to explore your options for leaving, talk to me again. You will certainly do that. Discuss smithing? You tell Ikarian that you've been looking at his workshop, wondering what he does here. I am a mage smith, the tall Ithil tells you, and although this workshop is poorly equipped, I can still make use of my skills to create and repair arcane items. Would that be of interest to you? I admit the prospect of getting my hands on new items is appealing. You see, the ones I can salvage here are few and far between. That said, due to the simplicity of the workshop, the lack of tools, and the passage of time, what I can do has its limits. You ask if he can actually forge magic items here. Ikarian frowns before answering. Unlikely. I can enhance and repair enchantments, especially those embedded in smaller magical objects. Perhaps mend metal here and there if necessary for a specific item. Show me everything you have, and I will point out the ones I can enhance here. Ikarian's magical smithing services might be limited, but perhaps you have some items you can improve. None. Imagine, I don't know what items we might have that he could improve. Something? Astrolabe, the island, the village, the elusive Ithil. Talk about the damned? I wonder... Oh, we can't leave. I was wondering if we could go explore the island, but apparently not. Okay, back in. Talk to Ikarian. Let's ask him about his plans to get us home. If you guys are interested in reading all the lore, you should definitely get the expansion and the game. Super good. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put a link to the description to the game in Steam, if you would so choose. The developers are super cool. The game is amazing. You should definitely check it out if this seems like your jam. But for now, let's continue. I indeed have a plan, he offers. Your return can be fairly easily accomplished, I believe. When you gave me the device upon our meeting, it still had the essence of the gate you passed through to get here. So I attuned it to the essence. That means we can go back to the Fang Gate where I attuned the astrolabe to it, and you can use it to open a realm gate to return to that crossroads place. Moreover, you will be able to use a recharged astrolabe to return here using the same gate. He smiles when you tell him that you owe him for thinking ahead. Just head out to the Fang Gate when you are ready to leave. I will join you there. You can return to the Fang Gate from now on. Okay. Return to our dwelling. We can leave. I want to check out this crystal so badly, but they won't let us go there. So let's head back to the Fanged Gate, around the pools of acid that we narrowly avoided some disastrous results, I assume. Alright. The realm gate that looks like two stone fangs facing each other looms on the barren plateau ahead. Very cool. Ikarian is here, waiting. The Ithil Mage Gate is standing beside the Fang Gate, arms crossed, looking up at the stone arch absent-mindedly, but he turns to you when you approach him. So, I hope you are ready to depart, he intones. The gate is certainly stable. I just have to attune the astrolabe to it and you're ready to go. It only takes a minute for those who know what they are doing. He is right. He hands you back the astrolabe quickly after he performs the attunement spell with it. He then proceeds to explain more of realms walking. Now, for reasons not entirely known to me, this gate can be opened with your relic for a long time. So there is no reason to leave anyone behind. Okay, you lied to me before! Other gates might not be that stable, but this one is. At any rate, if you wish to return here, simply find someone to recharge your astrolabe, or wait for it to do so by itself, and head over to this crossroads place. You will be able to open the Realms Gate by doing what I am about to teach you. You tell him that you are listening. Ikarian proceeds to instruct you on how to set the small knobs with the symbols on your astrolabe, and what words of power to utter to open a portal between realms. Once done, he prepares to leave you to it. From now on, you can pass between the crossroads in here any time you want if the relic is charged. He adds as he is walking away. He's already leaving. Should you return, we might be able to look and see if we can attune your astrolabe to other destinations on the field of stars at the foot of the fortress. Safe travels. Oh, so the fortress is how we get to other places. And then, in a blink and a flash of blue flame, he is gone, having teleported back to Kadath, you assume. Well, cool. I want to learn how to teleport. You will now be able to leave the island. The realm gate that looks like two stone fangs facing each other looms on the barren plateau ahead. So I wonder if, like, I'm guessing the portals are inside the fortress? It's kind of like half collapsed. But I was like, are all of these gates, perhaps? This is really cool because it allows the game to continue to grow. Like, this is your hub. I'm imagining it, like, if you've ever played Demon Souls, it's like a hub where you teleport to all the worlds that you fight the bad creatures in. I imagine you could use this to go to all parts of the continent, which would be pretty cool. But let us go to the Realm Gate. The Realm Gate is between a pair of stones that look like fangs facing each other. Everything is barren and silent around it. There's a peculiar taste in the air, however. It might indicate that the portal is working but dormant at the moment. Open the Realm Gate and pass through to the crossroads. You walk up to the gate, standing in front of its arches, and hold the astrolabe out, the way Icarian instructed you to. Adjusting the knobs with the symbols, you utter the command words. Unseen, tingling energy surges through your arms, and there is a sudden flash of light between the arches. In the air now hangs a vertical surface between the fangs, much like a mirror or a pond. The muddled visage on that reflective surface is unmistakably the crossroads with its standing stones. On your order, the Comitatus walks through the Realm Gate, people and beasts, one by one, until only you remain on this side. Then you step through the gateway yourself. Whee! Wow! Okay, so it takes 60 days for the astrolabe to full charge, which honestly in this game is not that long. It takes a long time to go from places to places, and it goes pretty fast. Getting 5 insight is pretty cool though, because we'll be able to... I've like low-key been wanting to upgrade my resourcefulness, because we've only had 5 for like ever, so I'm considering doing that, although it won't let me do that right now, even though we have 17 insight. Anyway, so that was the start of the expansion for Vagrus The Riven Realms, Sunfire and Moonshadow. I hope it was exciting. I'm really excited to see how the Realm Gate continues to function, to see the rest of the teleporting as it comes. I think actually the way this all worked out, the big change between where I left off for my playthrough, and there's still a couple more episodes to come out, so this is going to seem really weird to those of you that have been watching the series, but I have way more money than I did. I spent a little time just running around gathering money because you need a certain amount to trigger the event to happen. So I have a lot more money, and we still have a lot of things to do around here. But the way it sounds like, we can kind of teleport back and forth between the Realm Gates at will now. I thought it was going to be like, go through the Realm Gate and end up over here, and then you can never come back, or it'd be really, really hard to come back. So I think we're going to just drop this. We're going to drop this on the day the expansion releases. So if you're seeing this now and you're like, this sounds amazing, definitely go check it out on Steam for sure. But we're just going to leave this in order that the episodes are coming out. And we'll just pick up here with our normal playthrough. I think the last episode that I recorded that's going live before the expansion comes out on Saturday. So this should the first one after this video goes live should come up next Monday, if you're all excited to see me wander through the new content. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, click the like button, it helps me out a lot. If you want to see me play through the new stuff and the rest of Vagrus The Riven Realms, you should definitely give the channel a follow, subscribe, helps me out a lot as well. Definitely go check out Vagrus The Riven Realms. The new expansion looks amazing. Lost Pilgrims are super cool, awesome devs, they're super communicative. This game is amazing, and you should definitely support them if it seems like your jam. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the Riven Realms next time. So bye, everybody!